I have a question for the dermas out here in TikTok. Technically, you are...
Hi, Miss Nate. So thank you for the question. So the question was, what is good for acidic skin? Now, before delving into that, I think it's important for us to differentiate what is acidic skin versus basic skin, right? So here behind me is the pH scale. So the pH scale is basically a measure of what is acidic versus what is basic, right? And it's a scale that runs from 0 to 14. Now, 7 is considered neutral, and usually water is considered 7, a pH of 7. Less than 7 would be acidic, and greater than 7 would be basic. Now, the fact is, guys, our skin is naturally acidic. It usually ranges between 4.5 to 5.5, so a good estimate would be around 5. And there's a reason for that. So our skin is acidic because it helps keep the moisture in and, of course, bacteria out. And that's brought about by the natural mixing of our sweat as well as sebum, the natural substance produced by our sebaceous glands. And that gives it a pH of around 5, aka the acid mantle. Now, the thing is, our skin is so great and it's able to adapt, so much so that if there are changes in the pH of our skin, our body can readily replenish and restore it back to its natural pH. Now, the thing is, when it comes to pH, some people may have sensitive skin, so much so that if they use higher pH, like let's say cleansers, they can develop like flakiness, dryness, or it can even exacerbate certain skin conditions. But at the same time, we have a spectrum of people that they can use higher pH cleansers, maybe 9 to 10, with no problems at all, right? So when it comes to the pH of our skin, meaning its natural acidity, and in choosing products for it, for me, I think the pH is a good consideration, right? It's something that ideally we would want products that would fall into the 5 to 6 pH range in order to maintain the integrity of our skin barrier or acid mantle. But at the same time, for me, it's not the end all or be all. It's just a piece of the entire picture. So, the formulation of certain products can be affected by certain things. Like, for instance, in order for preservatives to be added, there are certain preservatives that wouldn't work with certain pH levels, right? So I think the overall formulation of the product is still boils down to be the more important thing. Try out the product, patch test it. Does it work well for your skin, right? If yes, then go ahead and use it. pH is not the only consideration. You can consider it, but it's not the only thing that you should take into account.